Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to a new video, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a full beauty retouch of this image. And as you guys can see, this image has already been retouched by me because I shot this particular image a while back, but I'm going to be doing this tutorial, so I'm going to be re-editing this image from scratch. So this is the image straight out of camera, as you guys can see, and this is the retouch image. So I'm going to be breaking this tutorial into two videos. So this first part you guys are watching right now is going to cover everything about how I retouch this image, and the second part is only going to cover color grading. And the reason why I'm doing that is so that I don't just want to do like a color grade where I just like use a lot or an action. I actually want to like create the color grade from scratch so you guys can like follow along and like see the steps you could also implement into your own retouching for when you want to like color grade your images and get that really nice melanin skin tone, right? So to make this retouch a bit faster, I already have like actions I always use while retouching, as you guys can see. So I have my frequency separation, Doge Burn, eye and teeth whitening, contrast, skin softening, and so on. So I'll be making use of, I'll probably say about 90% of the actions you guys can see there. Okay, so let's get into today's video. So let's delete this retouch layer. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is I like to change my image from an 8-bit image to a 16-bit image, right? So I come to image mode and 16 bits. Okay. So now that it's been changed to a 16-bit image, I'll just duplicate the image. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to like clean up all the blemishes on the skin. But I usually like to do this in frequency separation, so I'll be doing that in frequency separation. Oh, and just for people who don't know how to create frequency separation, let's just do that in this tutorial. So first thing you guys will have to do is make 2 layers. Now you name the lower layer color and the upper layer texture, right? Or you could just name the lower layer low frequency and the higher layer high frequency, right? So for colors, let's turn off the texture first. For colors, we'll go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, right? And now we're going to pick a radius where we just take out all the texture, right? Because if I take it all the way down, you can see like all the details in the image, and if I take it all the way up, the image is like completely blurred. So we need to find that fine spot where we just have like no texture. I think 12 is good for me. Okay. And now for the texture, let's turn on the layer and we'll come to image, apply image. And now for the layer, would click on our colors because that's our low frequency layer, right? And our blending would be set to subtract, and opacity will be 100, scale 2, and offset 128. Okay, so now this layer has all the texture, right? But we can't leave it like this, so we're going to change it from normal to linear light. All right, So that's basically frequency separation. Okay, let me just group both of them together and name this FS, right? Okay, so now let's now take care of the blemishes. I feel like the best tool for taking care of blemishes, especially when using frequency separation, is the clone stamp tool. But you could also use your spot healing brush tool or your healing brush tool, but I just prefer to use clone stamp tool. So what I do is I'll just sample where I want, right? And I'll just paint over the blemish. Sample, paint over the blemish. Sample, paint over the blemish, right? You guys get the idea. Sample, paint over, sample, paint over, sample, paint over, right? You guys can hear the sound of my mouse. I don't want a tablet, but I'm planning on getting one very soon. Oh, I have actually got one, but it's still on its way. I'll probably get it in like a week or two, and I'll probably be doing an unboxing and a review, because a lot of photographers say using a tablet is way better. So I'm looking forward to the experience. So you guys get the idea. So for this video not to be too long, I'll just speed up this part and we'll come back once I'm done with this. Okay. Okay, so now I'm done taking out all the blemishes from the image. So let me just zoom in so we can see how far we've come. So this is the before, as you guys can see. Look how the blemishes on our skin here, and this is after. So we've taken out almost all the blemishes. Now we'll come to our color, which is our low frequency, right? And what we're going to do here is we're going to be using, to make it a bit faster so we don't spend too much time on the colors, we're going to be using a mixture of the mixer brush tool and the lasso tool, right? So what I'll do is I'll select my mixer brush tool and zoom out the image. Make sure your wetness is set to 30, load 30, mix 100, flow 20. Yeah, this works for me. I got this. I also got these values from another photographer, and they've been working really good for me. So you guys can just also use this. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to use the mixer brush tool to blend in the colors a bit more and to blend in those transitions, right? Okay, so just slightly, just gently, not too much. Okay. I try not to do too much here, because we're still going to like use the lasso tool to like smoothen up the image. And you could also like just use the mixer brush tool alone, which is a better method, but that will like take a whole lot of time. And you could even also use just Doge Burn. So what I just do is I typically use all three. So I use the mixer brush tool, I also use Doge Burn and the lasso tool all together, and that's what you guys are going to see in this tutorial. Okay, so let me just speed this up a bit. Okay, so now I'm done with the mixer brush tool, and this is the before, after, before, after. So just like a really little difference, but like in retouching, that's really all you need, so you don't like damage the image. So now what we're going to do next is we're going to pick our lasso tool, right? And we're just going to like select an area. Now we're going to select an area of our forehead, and we're going to feather this. I usually use 25, and come to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. So initially when I open my frequency separation, I set my radius to 12. So whenever I use the lasso tool, I usually just double the value. I make sure I don't go way over double the value of my previous radius. So that will be 12 multiplied by 2. That would be 24. And this is just like perfect for us. So I'll just sample here also. Right? Feather. And since I already used that value, so it's already set, so I can just click on my Gaussian blur and it applies it. Okay, so let me just speed up this a little bit too. I hope you guys are like learning something. Okay. Okay, and we're done. So that's basically all for frequency separation. Let me just show you guys the before and after so you guys can see how far we've come. So this is the before and this is the after. Can you guys see? Before, after, before, after. So as you guys can see, even though I use the lasso tool and the mixer brush tool, I was still able to like retain almost all the details in the skin and not really like affect the skin texture, right? So once we're done with this, would create a stamp visible layer. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to do global Doge Burn. Okay, I won't be doing any micro Doge Burn in this particular retouch. So let me just load up the action, and let's also load up the invert check layer. Okay, so because the invert check layer is also on, what it does is that the highlights would be shown as the blacks, as you can see, and the shadows would be shown as the whites in the image, right? Because the check layer is inverted. So now I'll come to Dodge. I'll pick my brush tool, set my flow to 2%. And now I would just Dodge, right? You know, just to like enhance it a little bit and create like this, should I call it depth? Right? Right? Okay, and now come to our burn layer and just like so, you know, just to enhance it a bit. All right. Okay. So now let's just turn off the invert check layer and let's look at what we've done. So this is our Doge Burn right now. So let me turn it off so we can see the difference. Before, after, before, after. It gives it like this pop. You know, it just like makes the image look way better. Doge Burn. So let's delete the invert check layer. Okay, so now we're going to create another stamp visible layer. All right, so now the next thing we're just going to do is our eye and teeth whitening action to whiten the model's eyes a bit more. Okay, so now I'll pick my brush again, set my flow to 100. I'll zoom in the image a bit here. I hope you guys are like understanding this and I'm explaining it well for you guys. This is like my first retouch tutorial, so I hope I'm doing a good job at explaining this. Okay, as you guys can see, eyes are like really white now. So this is the before, after, but I feel like they are too white, so I'll just reduce this a bit by reducing the opacity. So let me take the opacity down. Maybe to 80. Okay, I think 80 is good, right? Before, after, right? So now what I'm going to do again is I'm going to create a stamp visible layer. I just like to do this. I always create a stamp visible layer after every adjustment I make. You could probably do it differently, but this is just something I like to do. Okay, so now I've done that here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit of contrast to the image. And as you guys can see, I have arranged my actions in a way that it just flows sequentially based on what I want to do next. It just makes it a little bit easier for me, right? So now I've loaded my contrast action just to like add a little bit of contrast to the image, right? As you guys can see, before, after. I think I'll reduce this a bit to maybe 70. Before, after. Okay, so now stamp visible layer again. Now I'm going to use my skin softening action. Okay, so now my skin softening action has loaded. Now all I do is I click on the layer mask, I pick up my brush tool, and I'll paint white to reveal, increase my brush size, make sure my hardness is set to 0, right? Then I just paint over the image. And when I soften the image, it also helps to like really blend in the skin tone even more, right? as you guys can see, right? So let me just zoom in a bit so we can really see the difference before, after. So this is like too much, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to bring down the opacity. I would say we should bring it all the way down to 40%. So this is the before, after, before, after. Can you guys see the difference? It's there, but it's just little. Yeah, and like I said before, those little adjustments, yeah, that's what builds up into like a really nice image. You don't have to like overdo it and then the image will now like not look too good, right? Okay, so now I'm going to create another stamp visible layer. Do I need to reduce the reds? Let's see. I would say maybe we should, but I would have to like reduce the amount of, oh, I would have to, I feel like I have to like add more reds into it. So instead of -15, I'll just probably do -5. -5. I think that's okay, right? Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is even out the skin tones, right? So I'm going to click on my even skin tone action. I have a video showing how I create the even skin tone. I'll put it up right here on the screen so you guys can see, and if you want to like learn how to do that, that video will be really helpful. So let's play this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to my gradients editor, and now I'm going to select my highlights. This is going to be my highlights, my midtones, and my shadows. So for the highlights, I'll probably pick somewhere maybe here. And now for my midtones, I would say around here, and for my shadows around I'd say around here. Let's see, yeah, so around here would be good for me. Okay, so now I'll just click on the layer mask, come to my brush again, make sure my opacity and my flow is both on 100, and just paint. Right, can you guys see? This is like really changing the color, but just hold on and you guys would like see the magic. All right, just paint. Okay, so obviously we can't leave it like this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to reduce the opacity all the way down to 20, right? And now let's look at the difference. So this is the before, after, before, after. Can you guys see the difference? So this action just helps you to like even out the skin tone even better, especially when you know that you're not like doing Doge Burn, micro Doge Burn, right? Okay, so now that we are done retouching the image, let's group the layers together so we can see the difference, see how far we've come, right? Okay, so this is the before, after, before, after. Let me just zoom this in. Before, after, before, after, right? So in the part 2 of this tutorial, this retouching tutorial, would be doing the color grading of this image, and I already explained why I decided to make that a separate video, so that you guys will be able to like see the entire process of me like color grading this image, because I feel like if I do it in this video it will be too long, right? So I would be releasing my actions, yeah, on my website, but I'll be releasing them in the next video. Okay, so you guys should just stay tuned for that, for the color grading video. So I'll be releasing my actions there, and I would also be giving out a free skin tone lot on this particular image. However way we go when we like color grade it, I also make a lot for it, so you guys would also be able to like download that lot too. Yeah, so please do subscribe to this channel, drop a comment below, like this video if you were able to learn something, right? And you guys should just like tell me what I could do next in the comments. I'm open to suggestions, and I would also like keep improving on my teaching skills, because I know like I was probably dragging a lot, but I'm really not used to like just talking to my mic and like retouching. It's actually weird if you really think about it, but I'm sure I'm going to get used to it, because I really like making videos that everyone can learn from, right? I've even like gotten a new mic also, so my mic would also get to me very soon, so even the quality of my audio should improve. And okay, I think I've been talking too much already, so I'll see you guys in the part 2 of this video where we would be color grading this image. All right, bye.